Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today what I want to talk about is a collection, so I guess you could call it a collection, of watches by 7 ACHI watchmakers. In other words, these are some of the top people in watchmaking. And this occurred around 2005, that period right in there, 2005, 2006, maybe a little before or after, but that's the general period. And what happened was that there's a company, Egana Goldpfeil, that decided, well, it would be cool to have a sort of a set of watches by these top watchmakers, and all under the, I guess, the sponsorship of Goldpfeil. So Goldpfeil, by the way, in German means golden arrow, and so a lot of the designs you'll see this big fat golden arrow, and that was their company logo. And the 7 they got are Vianney Halter, Svend Andersen, Vincent Calabrese, Bernhard Lederer, Antoine Preziuso, Frank Jutzi, and Felix Baumgartner. Now, Egana Goldpfeil was a German luxury group, and it got really complex what happened after that. And sort of digging around, it was everything from their having some bank account in a Panamanian bank where others were caught up with everything from fraud to money laundering. I mean, it was bad. And essentially what had happened, I think the part that got Goldpfeil in trouble was some fraud. They reported a certain amount of profits when they wanted a loan, and then they had some, and then when it came time to pay taxes, they sort of had another number. And anyway, it was a big mess. A number of Asian luxury groups got in trouble along with them. They did a lot of work with Asia, and today the Goldpfeil is now, the official website is on a Japanese site, and I think it's pretty much become, it went from being an old luxury German to a Japanese. That's okay, but it wasn't okay because when Goldpfeil had to quit trading, and then they sort of had to go into bankruptcy of some sort, they had to cut off this the 7 Masters program. So, but what came out of this over the years, I've found, I'd see all of these different watches by these really incredible watchmakers, and they had this big fat gold arrow, and I had no idea what that was. And I later on had something to do with some kind of program called the 7 Masters, but I never really looked into it. And I always thought, now this is the kind of thing that watch collectors are really looking for. Something that not everybody knows about, but it involves a top watchmaker, something unique. Maybe I can find a deal here. And there were deals all over the place just a few years ago. I went out looking to find some, and I couldn't find any. I mean, I saw some, they were listed up there, but they weren't available for sale. So this might be sort of a fun treasure hunt for you. Find something on some obscure website or some sales site. But these are some interesting watches, and let's go take a look at the 7 watchmakers and the watch they made for the 7 Masters. First of all is Bernhard Lederer. His watch that he had is really interesting. It's got this vertical day date down at 6 o'clock, and then it's essentially a regulator with a hand date. And in addition to, I'm not sure what how everything on that watch is working, unless it may be I don't know what, the bottom where it has 1, and then you can see the hand date is on 4, so I'm not sure about this, but it's an interesting watch. I'd love to get my mitts on one. So if you see one, let me know. Now, this next one is by Svend Andersen. Svend Andersen is Danish watchmaker who is now, I think, has been for the last several years in Switzerland. And his watch is just flat out interesting looking. You have, it goes from 12 and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then by at where it's normally positioned 6 o'clock, it's 12 o'clock. So that would be the 12 noon. And it's just a very, very interesting watch. Another one, I've seen it before. I didn't pay any attention to it because I hadn't really looked into it. One of the things about all of these watches, though, most of the movements, if not all of them, are like ETA or ETA-based movements. They're not some kind of wonderful original one, except insofar as any kind of originality went on to fairly standard base. Now, this next one by Frank Jutsi, this is another regulator with a moon phase, and it's with a guilloche, and there's something about it. I just, look at that thing and thought, well, what a good idea. That's about all I can say. All of these, by the way, they're either stainless steel or gold. I don't think they have any platinum ones in there. They may, but I don't think so. Now, this next one by Vianney Halter, and it is a really interesting one. And you can see there's a jumping hour up in the upper left corner, and then you have a main dial with either the minutes or the seconds or both or something like that. But it's an interesting one. This is one that a lot of collectors have been looking for. It's very hard to find one and sort of available. Now, this one by Vincent Calabrese, you have the jumping hours up at 12 o'clock. I think it's a date down at, but it could be 24 hours down at 6 o'clock. And then you have a minute hand in between. Another just fascinating looking creation. I've seen this one around. If I see it again, I might grab it. This next one by Antoine Preziuso is most of the work that he did that's really interesting on this isn't on the dial, but it's on the movement. A lot of finishing on the movement there. The dial is simply a sort of like a red leather dial base, but flip it over and you can see a lot of the work of the decoration that's been done on the movement. Now, the final one by Felix Baumgartner is I don't know why, it just sort of strikes me as, on the one hand, is sort of a squarish kind of 1970s, but on the other hand, it could be sort of a 1930s. Here you have the crown down at 6 o'clock. Fascinating watch. So the thing about the Goldpfeil watches is that, like I said, I used to see them all over the place for sale. They were pretty good deals too, but boy, they got snatched up at some point. But it's something, if you're out there and you run across one or somebody doesn't know what they're selling, it may be an opportunity to get a really cool watch for yourself. Let me know what you think. It's an opportunity to subscribe if you like. And until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection.